Yeah, you can use index PNG. All our source assets are PNGs. Yeah, Kevin, the unknown I have right now is how many sort of circle versus line tests am I going to be able to do per frame. Obviously, we'll prioritize the player versus the terrain.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how many we're going to be able to get per frame. Like, we might have to sacrifice something with the bullets. Maybe can't hit terrain, but that would suck. I mean, they really need to hit the terrain. It's just going to be about reducing those tests down to a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dutch Retro Guy, we just added that actually. It was getting a bit annoying, so I had to go ahead and get the glitter line draw thing working, and I got super lazy with it though, and I don't clear them, so just at the end of every frame now I just essentially clear the entire frame buffer and redraw it when I'm drawing those lines. That's why it's running quite slow, because it's a really slow clear going on. If the bullets follow a straight line, you can pre-compute the impact point. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it's not a bad idea actually. Against the terrain, still do the dynamic tests against the player. Yeah, it's a good idea. So just recently we added some camera control where some gameplay event, be it a trigger or hard coding, could move the camera around the map and then the player would follow the camera. We're going to extend this and support for this kind of map, specifically stopping the camera at certain locations. Like it might be where a mini boss appears, we'll stop scrolling and lock the camera there until, stop scrolling horizontally, lock the camera there until the boss battle's over, and then allow it to move on again. Obviously at the final boss. So I'll just disable this debug stuff and go back to showing. These new input behaviors. So Kev, right? Oh, hang on. Don't worry about it. Keep doing what you're doing. I need to change a little bit of code.
That's okay. I'm just looking in Tide to see how you can change the. So funny.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. One way to quickly do it is just import a new tile map and then just slap the entire tile map down. But that's not how you. It's not an image, but you can do it with tiles.
Yeah.
I'm going to give playfield 1 priority over sprites, and that'll have priority over playfield 2. Playfield 1.
Oh, that looks a bit faster.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll give you a look at this, Kev, when you're ready. Just let me know and I'll walk you through it.
Sure.
A couple of new things. So when we usually play Boss Machine, we have this sort of fast-moving ship like this, right? Now it's pretty difficult to, particularly in these tight spaces, to dodge these bullets. I can't die now having vulnerability on, but you can see I'm still hitting a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
So on the CD32 controller, we've got 4 buttons. So I've taken one of those buttons, and when you hit it, the ship speed slows right down. Right, so I'm holding one of these buttons and it's auto firing, and the ship speed is more precise. And then I let it go, and it speeds up. So trying to bring a few new gameplay mechanics in. So nice and slow, nice and precise. And you can drop out, speed up, come back in slow, dodge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Back out fast again. Let's just do it like that. So that's one of the 4 buttons. Obviously the other button is just normal fire, which is this guy. And then with 2 buttons left, one button does the weapon cycle. So we can go through our weapons. And the other button does the weapon cycle back the other way. So you can go both directions. If you're stuck with a 2-button joystick, pretty much all you'll be able to do on the joystick is fire and cycle weapons.
Okay.
So going to really highly recommend a 4 or 6 button, not that we've currently got a use for 6 buttons, but we certainly have good usage for 4 buttons.
So would you use the keyboard for people who don't have a joystick set up that way?
Yeah, I'm going to add weapon select on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And I guess there's no harm in adding these other 2 on the keyboard as well. I think in the case where they only have a 1 or a 2 button stick, we will have to put this slow movement, as a toggle. So they'll hit, I don't know, a button, whatever button it's bound to.
Yeah, hold down spacebar or something. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, with your big toe on spacebar while you're playing, or however you do it. That's what I used to do back in the 64 days. I had my foot up there. Yeah, so we'll put them on the keyboard, but they're going to be much better on. They're going to be much better on 2 or more button sticks. So if anyone does happen to know a joystick manufacturer that wants to do a Boss Machine bundle with a 4-button plus joystick for Amiga, we'd be dead set keen.
Probably costs more than the game.
Yeah, I bought a nice monster joystick a while back. That's what I actually use on the Amiga these days.
Yeah.
Quite nice. It's only 2 button though. I don't know why I limited it to 2. Yeah, it'll support anything up to a CD32 joysticks. I think they're like 4 buttons plus a couple of triggers or something. If your Mega Drive controller works natively, I think you have to rewire it. I actually don't know. I don't know much about it. But if your 3 buttons can be recognised, say in the CD32 game, they'll work in Boss Machine as button 1, 2, and 3. This this enemy rollout that you're seeing here for this level is not designed for this level. That's why they're sort of all going behind everything. It's really our just first tests into getting here, doing a bit of a playthrough to see what it feels like. So Kev, here we'll have the enemies spawning in from the top, coming in, doing patterns.
Yeah.
Maybe coming out here and doing a roll around, you know, like a 360 and back down here or something.
We can still use that hardware sprite, right? That we can go vertically up and down the screen as well.
Sorry, mate, say that again.
You know the hardware sprite that we have been using for that recent Big Boss,
Yeah.
the high res hardware sprite.
Yeah.
Can we set that on top of the foreground?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, we have to. If I've got it right with the hardware sprites, I haven't done a lot of work with them. We can. Well, I mean, we definitely can put it on top. I think that whatever we do, the rule will apply to all hardware sprites, not just the particular, sprite 0 and 1 or sprite 2 and 3 and so forth. So they'll all be on top or they'll all be on bottom, as long as we're not splitting them. If we're splitting them vertically, then we can change the priorities, but horizontally, at least not easily, we can't. We could go in and do some copper work, but it would be a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Currently, I think this guy's going behind. Is that right?
I think so.
But yeah, if we want to bring, it's going behind. But if we want to bring it in, we can. Bring it on top, we can. No drama. Do you want me to bring up that image, Kev, that you're showing?
Yeah, sure. That'd be good.
Excellent. Let me find it. I was thinking. Where this could be really cool is like a bomb, like a smart bomb or something. When the player dies, it just wipes out all the stuff on the screen, or if you get a build up a special, you could fire it off.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like that.
Okay, desktop. All right, we're gonna bring this pretty picture up. Boom, boom, boom. So have you got these animated yet, Kev?
The ground guy. Which one? The ground guy?
The lightnings.
No.
Electricity.
No, it was just a quick composite to go, and it's just trying to work out how it might either connect to the foreground, or it sits on top of the foreground, or it even goes behind. I remember some time ago in our early videos that we had on the OCS demo that we had some electrical sprites in the background.
Yeah.
Haven't really decided, but if there's efficiencies of having it one way or the other.
No, it's certainly cost-wise, it's the same whichever way they go.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, I think they're fixed costs, the sprites.
Okay.
Four colours, you thinking?
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be high res sprite either. It can be low res.
Yeah. I can kind of see a feature in that terrain there. There's some sort of organic live. Looks like a alien if you turn your head sideways.
Yeah, there's always little bits of elements of that in the landscape. We might be able to open it up, and make it come alive or something.
Ship comes past, tries to suck it up or eat it or something. That's looking good. I'll just pull up that old OCS demo.
Oh yeah.
It's an old video, that one. I think that was the actual first, maybe not first, but one of the very early, very early Boss Machine releases. Yep. Yeah, there they are in the background there. So they're behind the terrain.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I got this to this point, I was looking at it and I was so happy with the shooting mechanic. And it fires at all about 2 bullets a second or something. Maybe 3, looking at it now. So slow, it's crazy. Yeah. That's still that same asteroid routine, it's identical, like those things are still original design from way back when. Crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think that's right. NV, Nivrig. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't, unless you do some sort of like stuff in the copper list where you change the priorities horizontally. And that'd just be a pain. I don't want to go there.
Well, that's it. You know, just need to work within the constraints, not go too crazy.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard not to sometimes. You just want to, you really want to push it. But it's tricky to find a balance between enjoying writing the tech, and I guess anyone who's writing Amiga games is doing it because they love coding, right? Or they love arting. So you want to, when you're doing something you love, you want to experiment and explore all of the time. But I guess, do we want to actually get the game out there, or do we want to just keep playing with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's okay, Dan. I'm happy to stick within the constraints and not make it more complicated, that's for sure. I'm sure people are keen to play the game.
Yeah. Well, I'm keen to get it out to them at some point. Don't know when. Hopefully we'll get it out to you guys soon. 2022 might be the year. Yeah, it ain't for the money, that's for sure. Well, speaking of copper list hell, one of the techniques I'm looking at to get a bit more detail into these traditional levels is actually use the sprite layer, background sprite layer. There's one game I'm pretty sure a developer in here is pretty much mastered the art of doing. I might have to hit him up for some questions about it at some point. Or we just go with the Starfield. What do you reckon, Kev?
Sounds good too.
Drop a Starfield in there.
Yeah, we haven't got a Starfield.
Good old Starfields. Yeah, she's running good at the moment. I've got the frame rate cracking. I'm pretty happy with it right now.
Dan, I'm just going to disconnect for a few minutes and connect my iPad to the stream.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
So I'll text you and just give me about 5 minutes and I'll reconnect.
Sure.
Oh, see you soon.
No worries. Just hang on a sec, guys. I just got to hook Kevin back up. Yeah, I'm pretty. I found a big optimization today. I saved. I saved about 100 cycles per essentially game object every frame. It's good when you find wins like that. I'm traditionally a C++ programmer, but I think very modular and not object orientated, but sort of data orientated. But I do think modular. So when I started writing this, my code was written very modularly. This is the music. This is the first pass of the level 1 track. Super early, super early. Martin's cranking them out. He's very busy with reshoot R, not reshoot R, is it? Reshoot Proxima 3 at the moment. So we're kind of waiting for him to free up some time and get on here. Yeah, Kevin. So our bullets are at least 2 colors. So we need at least 2 bit planes. But I'm thinking about doing that. It's, it's that glitter time. I did some tests with it. And we do save about 50%. I mean, it's pretty linear, glitter usage. Oh, sorry, one sec, guys. Dave? No, it'll run on 2 meg. Obviously,
okay.
You'll get better performance if you have some fast. Are you coming in on video, Kev, or are you just going to stick on?
Let's see.
There we go.
In the lounge room, away from, because our study's in next to the bedroom, so I just thought better come away.
Yeah, no worries. Cool.
Just going to go to the stream.
All right. Why am I seeing? Oh, there we go. Give it that. These. I've lost you on video again, Kev.
Okay.
Let me see.
Is the audio fine?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, yeah, I tell you what, even 256K of fast RAM would have been amazing. There's so many things you can look back on and say, why didn't they? Why didn't they? Well, obviously they didn't because of money, but yeah.
So Dan, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Cool. So the specs for it's basically bare bones 1200, right? But extra things if you've got extra memory, extra.
Yeah, so it'll run on a 2 meg. It'll Kev, I can't see you here still. Are you meant to be on video or not?
I don't know. I'll just check it. Let me just have a look.
I'm not sure. Okay. Guys, can you let us know if you can hear Kevin on the stream?
Maybe it's because it's
Here we go.
I'm trying to be too clever. I'm trying to be just watch the stream. Just shows as a Skype icon.
You were back there for a second, but you've dropped out again with video.
It's if I toggle onto the Skype app, then it comes on. But if you go to oh, I see you.
You do anything else that turns the camera off.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually pretty much done everything I wanted to do tonight. I wanted to show you, Kevin. I wanted to show you the CD, the sort of precision control option I've added, which I really like. I think people will really get a kick out of this. If you want to be a technical shoot 'em up player, you know, with the bullet patterns and whatnot, I'm hoping to introduce. I think this will come in very useful. I think we'll see some good gameplay going on. Left and right toggle switch, for weapon selection is going to be very useful if you have a CD32 compatible controller.
Laser.
Yeah, that's very neat.
Tiger, Skunk, Michael, thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm sorry you didn't hear half of what I said for half of the stream. It was all good, I promise. But yeah, that's about it. Kev, is there anything you want me to try and get in? What would you like to see next?
Well, I think I just need to create more graphics so that you can start implementing it. But you know how we were going to have some of those hidden areas in the map? I'm just currently building some graphics that you can overlay on top of that foreground so that you can kind of shoot it apart with one of your weapons.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. I'm dead keen on doing that.
I think the other thing too is, I guess we've got to make a decision of if all the enemies are going to be on top of this foreground, then at least I can add more background graphics. You know how we were talking about where we can change some of the colors. I'm going to do some blue. I don't know if I sent you any of the graphics that have that. It's sort of this honeycomb web sort of texture that you see in the background. Maybe I'll just have to check, see if I've sent it to you. Hopefully I'll send you something tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. I did see that. Where is it? Yeah, here it is.
Yes, I think the luxury with this particular style of level, rather than the other levels that we've done, is I can start attaching. Yeah, that's it. You can, if you zoom into that graphic's got. I think it's only one or two colors. The blue there I've allocated, but where you can shift the color palette for that. So that should.
Just pull them into Photoshop. Where'd it go? That's it.
So the idea was in that 16 color palette that we've got allocated. Yeah, see that's only just one color blue there. I think you could do some quite interesting things with just one color, where we might shift it over time. It might just kind of pulse a different color, or when there's a frantic moment, a big boss that you can shoot.
Yeah, now I'm with you. So when we were talking about that a little earlier, I thought you were talking about, say, like these sort of eye-looking terrain pieces, sort of maybe pulsing or changing color, or even maybe some sort of bioelectronic stuff pulsing. But you're talking about sort of the honeycomb stuff. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be that's cool, man. That's cool. All we need is, and I know you love control over this stuff. All we need is that, the color palette, and we can just run it through it in real time, and play it back at a certain speed. How it's pretty much how they do it in D-Paint. You just animate the palette.
Yeah. I'll send you an animated GIF or something that kind of illustrates it.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And if we can get away with using tiled for generating the collision boundaries, and we don't have to worry about using bitmap collision masking and stuff like that, because as soon as you have stuff floating in the background, it can interfere with collision masking. You have to be very careful about what colors you use and what not, or what color index you use. But if we're not doing that, it'll give you a lot more freedom too.
Okay.
Editing would open more stuff for you guys. Having foreground and background animation rendering would open more stuff up for you guys. Yeah. Well, we can animate in any of the layers. We can animate on the terrain now, so we could have, like we were talking a little earlier, we could have the eye animating, or the some place might look like it's got some sort of creature in it. It's the wrong map to be looking at that. Where is that one? No, we might have a bit of animation going on in or around here. So we can certainly do that. And we can also do it on the foreground layer, which is the one you see the enemies on right now. We can, obviously the stuff's already animating, so we can do it there too. With the more typical boss machine levels, which are highly parallaxed, it's a bit more tricky to do animation on those levels, because each of the parallax splits is more often than not scrolling at a different speed to the one above and below it, and keeping animation going across those splits becomes very complex, almost not worth doing so complex. But this kind of level, the traditional R-type style in VR levels, will definitely have more, how do you say, they'll be more alive, there'll be more things going on.
Yeah, it's pretty simple at the moment, the design that we've got, but we want to liven it up a fair bit more.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is really less than a day's work, right, Kev? Where we're at now, this is like...
We just knocked it up the next... Yeah, that's right, the last day or so.
If we were working on it full time, it would have, we would have had this done by lunchtime yesterday, kind of thing, starting after breakfast. Well, maybe that's optimistic, but... So yeah, we'll put more and more life in it for you guys.
Yeah, we plan to attach a lot more enemies, I think, for this particular level to it. So you might have creatures that walk along it, or fall off it, or things drip from the ceiling, or something like that.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a want to get something sort of like organic acid balls and stuff like that kind of modulate. Yeah, they don't want to shoot them; they sort of split up into little bits. Drawing. My Photoshop skills are lacking.
Well, I think that's the luxury sometimes is, working with people like yourself or other coders that they use assets and, just placeholders. You can, I think that's too often a lot of the coders don't actually get a lot of credit. I know with Richard's reshooter, he's put a lot of creativity in that, I think sometimes people see that the graphics person did that, but it's very much a team effort, or even the coder come up with a concept.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of backwards and forwards, and throwing ideas, and everyone plays a part. There's no way this game would be anywhere near what it is without you in being involved in it. See, there's my gun. That's my turret.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. It's not. It looks like an Atari 2600 game now. But yeah, we'll have static enemies. There'll be pew 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 sort of things going on, and they'll be coming out here and doing flybys and stuff like that. Evan's probably going, "What are you doing to my artwork?" Like bang. Then they'll come in sort of patterns and stuff here. So there'll be a lot more going on here once we've finished with it. And just to give you a quick sort of idea again, this is a very old one. Well, not very old. This is the very first test we did. We just wanted to see if we could actually get away with it. And what you see here is sort of enemy placements where enemies will spawn. Boss machine will read this asset in and display the right enemies in the right place with the right patterns, and the bosses in the right place, and little secrets like this. And I will actually answer your question that you asked me a little bit before, Kev. What we'll do for those secret areas. I guess you're thinking about doing one here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll leave this as background. And then in the foreground layer, we'll just build.
We're just going to build a wall up there so that on the right-hand side, you have to shoot it to get inside there.
That's right.
We might modify the shape slightly.
Yeah, that's right. There will be little, I don't know, that'll be about 1,000 points in there or something nice. Maybe an extra life or whatever.
Unlimited weapons.
Every weapon.
No.
Slap fight style. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's about all I've got to show.
The thing, Dan, I don't know if this was shown, I don't know if people have seen it, the new sprite engine that you've been building. Remember that? With a dragon head? The tail.
So, I mean, we can show that, but that's not my art. That's a rip.
Okay. So we better save that until we get some real assets first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You remember early on when we showed a few versions that had some of the original Thunder Force assets in there, and then there was a few other assets I just used to play, and people were like, it was just too much to deal with. It's like you just printed big red text. Placeholder.
We spent weeks, didn't we?
But they just don't read it. They just go, "Oh, you ripped that off." And yeah, we did rip it off, but the intent's not to keep it. So I won't show any more sort of rips in.
That's a good call.
That's just too much to deal with. And we're getting closer and closer to release, so I don't want any sort of shade cast on it either.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But what Kev is actually talking about there is I'm working on essentially a 2D skinning support system for boss machines. So we're able to bring in assets that have 2D assets that have bones with translation and rotation, but not as in rotating sprites, and more about rotating around points and things like that. Yeah, just something a bit more complex, so we can make our bosses more mechanical or more organic, less, you know, he's a sprite, he's a big sprite. It's more about he's a whole bunch of sprites, and they're doing some complex behaviors. If you think a little bit about maybe the bosses from Mega Man, you know, where they're crawling up walls, or they're transforming, you know, into different or longer or weirder shapes, and multi stages and stuff like that. I want to avoid just having the big floating boss kind of thing. We'll probably have a big floating boss because that's kind of traditional, but I also want to have something pretty cool in there as well.
We'll have to make use of. I still like that snake creature that we've made. We'll have to make a few different types of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're cool. Like that one there, we can attach that to a point. You know, it can be growing out of the wall, or sorry, let's get rid of the screen. Popping out of the wall or hanging off the wall, and you know, different kind of behaviours. Actually, looking at that, Kev, I noticed it was actually a little bit unoptimal today. Once I got those access aligned boxes displaying, there's a lot of clear overdraw. So yeah, we'd probably get a bit more performance out of him.
Awesome.
Yeah, for reference, take a look at some of the Mega Man bosses, and it'll give you an idea of what I mean. And someone just mentioned it in the chat there, Nivrig again. Yeah, Spine is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've got some very basic stuff up and running already, but I'm going to extend it. So you will essentially be able to create your animation in Spine with the flipbook animation on individual objects, and we'll be able to play that back through Boss Machine. It will be limited to transform only. There won't be any rotation support unless it's around an axis, not local rotation.
Very nice.
Pull that snake up again. And I don't know if you can hear, Kev, I've been playing around with the sounds a little bit.
No, I can't actually hear the sound.
Oh, there's no sound coming through. UAE. Let me see.
No.
Range. Says it's coming through on desktop. Let me see if I can turn that volume up. Nah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to leave it before I break something. So I did add some new sound in there. I've made it a little bit more modern. It's not quite so retro as it was. Done the double shot here, double shot sound. I've done the explosion sound for the enemies. I think I might have done the laser. I can actually hear that. Laser. Next little thing I'm going to do, Kev, is when you die, it's going to eject the pickup that you currently had active.
Oh, yep. Good idea. That's good, so you can recollect it.
Maybe. It probably won't stay too long, but I'll drop it out there, I think. I've got to colour these too. They're ready to get coloured.
I think I might change the collectibles. It's probably too boxy looking.
Yeah, I it's kind of grown on me. My initial thought was it's too boxy looking, but over time I I like it more and more. But I think I agree with you. I think that's, you get used to it. You've got to go with your gut a little bit too, I think. I think they look fine, but I think they could look better. I think you could do a tighter job on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there, with that snake there, is there a limit to how many pieces we can have?
This is, if we want to keep it running on a 2 meg only system, what we have there is the max. I've tried getting it more, and you can get more with fast RAM, but you can't get more if you've only got chip.
Cool.
If they were smaller, I think they're 32 at the moment. If they were 16, say, we could probably get more.
I'm just thinking of some vertical elements where you have it as a barrier that you've got to shoot, like a wobbling wall type thing that you've got to shoot, so it's attached to the foreground.
Yeah, that would be cool. And this is where I see, like, somewhere like here, I'm going to pause this. Somewhere like here, I see those electric beams that you keep bringing up, like attached to the top.
Yeah.
Like you could have two here. You could have one up top and one at bottom.
Yeah.
And you've just got to shoot the hell out of the mounting points for them to bring them down before you scroll through them and die.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So you might have one through there, maybe another one here. There's a really cool scene in one of the early stages in Thunder Force 4, where two pylons come in from the right hand side of the screen. They accelerate in at you really fast and then slow down and drop back a bit. And that's your warning, right? These two things coming at you and stopping. And then an electric beam goes horizontally across them, and then they fly over the top of you, and they sort of lock you in this box, right? And you've got to fly out of it or shoot them very, very quickly. I always die on it. It always kills me. If I don't shoot them first up, as soon as I'm in between them, I'm dead because I got fumble fingers on my thumb. But yeah, you can do so many cool things with lasers and like that, like those sort of statically placed or dynamically placed lasers attached to platforms.
Yeah, and some of them might be just more for effects, not necessarily to try and kill the player, but it might be just to add a bit more liveliness to the scene, that it sort of flashes wherever the player is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could absolutely do that. Don't hold back. Get it in there.
For sure.
Thunder Force 4. This is like a real big inspiration. I mean, if we can get even close to this, I'll be so happy with the game. I don't think we'll get this. These guys are just like horizontal shoot 'em up gods, but maybe we can put a good effort in. I'll be happy. Where is that? Yes. This level. So brutally hard. People reckon Thunder Force 4 is quite easy. I find it very hard. I find Thunder Force 3 easier than this.
Right, yeah, I found it pretty hard actually.
Oh man, Hellion, thanks for that. I mean, there they are, right there. If I worship NVIDIA, it's so well done. And when you think about, see those guys? When you think about that thing's on the A500, oh wow, man. Well, I know Steryl's coming up with an AGA shooter. I think Envia 2. Is he actually making a sequel? It's Envia 2, right? It's going to be on AGA, so he's going to be unleashed. He's not going to be limited to the color palette anymore, and he's going to have better F mode and faster CPU. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So certainly, yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
He's also put it on the Neo Geo, isn't he?
Yeah, because he that's right. He'd made a build of Invia on Neo Geo. Yeah, but I think I wish he was here. He was here a bit earlier. If you're still around, you can chime in. But from what I understand, he canned that, and he's going to do a whole new game, Invia 2, and release that on Neo Geo too. Yeah,
Unreal.
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think somebody was asking earlier that they wanted it on the Nintendo Switch. Is it possible?
Boss Machine on the Switch? I've already got it running on the Switch.
So I wasn't sure if that was public information.
Well, no, it's public. I shared a video around. I think it's had about 60 views. I only told a couple of people. So someone's telling someone.
No, I kept it secret.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Who was asking about the Switch?
Oh, I'll have to look early in the chat. That was quite a while ago now.
Okay. Let me see what we've got here. Yeah, I understand, Perhelion. It's and we thank you. It's really nice to hear. Yeah, like if we can come close to being as good a game as that was, we'll be happy. I'll be happy. Kev, will you be happy?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're trying to make a best go at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's so many awesome past shooters that we've had on the Amiga back in the 80s. I always keep looking back at Banshee, the graphics, and that was just stunning.
Yeah. So Banshee was essentially the Amiga's version of the classic Toplan shoot 'em up, right? Like Tiger Heli and all that. It was basically the Amiga spin on that because they didn't get the Japanese releases, and they did a bang up, amazing job on it. There's that asset leak again.
Oh, so we should point this. This is you on the Nintendo Switch playing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So we don't know if this will happen. It might happen. We'll see.